Hello, everyone. It's good to see you all. I presume you can hear us okay. Welcome to YouTube for Grown-ups. This is the channel where we talk anything to do with YouTube, especially for people turning their hobbies and passions into something more than that, particularly in later life. Now, for those who don't know me, I'm Tracy Lippett. I'm a former learning and development specialist turned full-time YouTuber. Let me just do something. That's better. Right, sorry, I had a bit of an echo there, just getting rid of it. Now, I'm thrilled today to be joined by the legend himself, the brilliant Brian G. Johnson. Now, something you might not know about Brian, those of you who know who he is, I'm sure you do know that he's a YouTube guru. He's been around for like ages. Well, stop looking modest, Brian. But Brian's a YouTube strategist and creator, and a wealth of knowledge has helped so many people like me to find my way with the whole YouTube thing. But the bit you might not know is that he's also a creative in another sense, in that he's a keen photographer, and in fact has a photography channel. So for our audience today, who are mostly going to be, I'm guessing, mostly creative types doing crafts and hobbies on YouTube, then Brian gets it. So who could be more perfect than to help us with this but Brian G. Johnson. So whether you are just starting out or you've been doing YouTube with your hobbies for years, Brian's your man. Stick around. Brian, would you like to say a few words? Just introduce yourself in your words, because I just waffled a bit there and hope it was right.
You were absolutely perfect, and it's really nice to be here, Tracy. I'm looking forward to spending some time and answering questions. And, you know, I don't think it matters how old we are. It just matters, you know, the message that we have inside and how to use this crazy platform in order to get it out to the best of our ability and really draw people in. And it doesn't matter your age or your race, whether you've got a lot of experience on YouTube or not. The core things that are truly most important to viewers, I believe anybody can really accomplish. And we'll talk about some of those things today. And again, thank you for having me. It's nice to be here.
Thank you. Well, just thank you so much for being here, Brian. And can I just say thank you to all the people joining us in chat? I can see we've got quite a little crowd in already. A lot of the members of Crafty YouTubers United, the group I was telling you about earlier, Brian, are in. And it is they who have posted a load of the questions. Oh, and Lynn's here as well. She's one of a great supporter of our YouTube channels. So we've got a good little cross section. This video will, of course, be saved so anybody can watch it on replay later as well. So hopefully we can reach an audience and perhaps inspire a few to have a go and clear up a few questions about doing YouTube as a crafter. So what we're going to do, first of all, I'd like to ask Brian a little bit about his journey, because he's done something quite interesting recently, which I know he's talked about on some of his videos. He's now thinking, what's she talking about? The Resurrecting a Dormant Channel. Because he's certainly not alone in that. And people who've got a channel that's gone quiet because they've been out of the scene for a while, I think we might like to hear a bit about how that's worked out for you, Brian, because I know it's something you've been talking about. So there's a number of things I think that it'd be nice to just find out about how you've tackled things. And then we're going to get into talking about how we package our craft videos. Now, a load of the lovely people who are in chat at the moment actually have been sending in questions about how they package their crafting videos for YouTube. So thumbnails, hooks, titles, all that malarkey. And we'll talk about how we think about growing a craft channel today. So my plan is we'll spend a few minutes just having a little chat with Brian, finding a bit about his story, and then we'll move on to pick up all those questions that you lovely people all sent in for me. I've copied them all off, and so I can we'll go through those, and then towards the end we'll have a bit of a free-for-all. We'll open it to the floor. We've got Brian with us for an hour, though he said he could spend a little bit longer if we needed, which is fabulous. So we can tackle any extra questions that you have. Now, can I ask you all, because we'll probably pick up a lot of your questions as we go along initially anyway, could you save your any extra questions for the end, unless there's any absolute burning ones that you need to jump in with sooner rather than later? And we'll have literally a proper big Q&A session at the end. We've also got Julia, who will either appear as Julia or host in the chat. And Julia is going to be helping out by popping your questions on the screen for us. So when we get to questions, if you could help us out by starting with a capital Q and putting it all in caps lock, it just makes it easier for us to make sure we've spotted them for you. So if you wouldn't mind doing that, that would be really helpful. and whatever Gert's on, I need some. Brian, can you actually see the chat?
Yes, I can. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Can I
see,
apologise for Gert in advance?
Yeah, welcome back, Bertie. And
I think the heat's getting to all the bricks
waving,
in amongst the group.
Emoji and all the it looks like a lot of emoji codes going down right now.
They're a happy bunch, this lot. Brilliant. So, Brian, how long have you been doing YouTube?
A really long time. I guess it's actually 9 years now, and I thought it was 8, but I don't really like math. I think I'm okay here. I think I'm safe. If we rather paint or draw or make crafts, we're good, but a really long time.
Well, so I'm dyscalculic, so numbers don't mean anything to me anyway, so don't worry about that.
Yeah,
It's a hell of a long time. So
very long time indeed.
How did you get into it in the first place? Because a few years, I mean, that far back feels like a reasonably long time.
Sure.
It wasn't the obvious thing for what we call a grown-up to be doing. How did that happen?
Yeah, I think it really just depends on the individual, like we're all really unique and gifted, and we all have different types of skills and whatnot. And when I was very young, I had this idea of working for myself. Like the word that comes to mind now is entrepreneur, but literally I was so young that probably was too big of a word. And I just started hearing about like working for yourself and making money. And I tried MLM and all these different things, but I found the internet and I started having some success. And I really started making things online before Facebook and YouTube. Really, the only thing you could do was build websites. So I focused on that, and I made a lot of different websites and earned a lot of money through affiliate marketing. And I learned a ton about really understanding what a huge group of people are interested in, and then crafting and creating something like a website or a video or an ebook, but not just an ebook, an ebook designed to sell on Amazon. And I thought, well, how can I get a huge group of people to my thing? And it served me very well. So I was able to make really hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars because I started early before all the social stuff. And I got good at SEO. And then I taught people how to do affiliate marketing. And I taught people WordPress. And I taught self-publishing on Kindle. And then I got to a point, like I don't think I have any around here, but I wrote a book called Trust Funnel. And that was about a 2-year project. I wrote for 9 months. I promoted it for another 9 months. And then after that, it was probably 3 or 4 or 5 months. I started thinking, well, what do I do next? And that kind of leads into YouTube. And I had used YouTube as a place to host videos because it really makes it simple. Yeah. But I'd never really tried to grow an audience on YouTube, which is a very different kind of thing. And so I turned my attention to that, and my book came out 2015, 2016, and I started YouTube, like I said, 2016. And I hit 10,000 subscribers my first year. I made a ton of mistakes. I was really weird and quirky when I started. I still can be that a little bit, but a lot less today, because for me, like, it was just really important. And I'd love to know, like, how important is it for everybody here to get more views, to truly grow an audience, to have that success, if that's really important, versus being creative? Like, which one do you value more? Please leave that in the chat. I'd love to know, just because we're all creatives here. And this is something I struggle with quite a lot, because it's not just another video for me. It's me trying to express myself, be artistic. And I'd say, 1 out of 25 videos, I don't give a damn, pardon my French, about the views. I try to create something I'm really proud of. But at the end of the day, I also really want to be successful, and that can be hard to balance. But if you want the views, you have to make things for a group of people. And hopefully we can talk about that. I'm sure we will. See, there you go. Yeah. Gert says creative. So that's awesome. Yeah. And so I'm wondering, Gert, if you're really worried about getting views then.
There we go. So everybody share. I mean, I started, while everybody's putting their comments in, and please do, now, what is your motivation? What are you trying to do with your channel? What are you trying to achieve? I'll explain what mine was. I got made redundant and I was bored because I decided to retire early. And I just sellotaped my phone to the bottom of the kitchen cupboards and started making something and filming it and stuck it on YouTube, and people seem to want to watch it. It never occurred to me that I could potentially make a living doing it, but I went full time after, I don't think it was even a year, because there's a lot of earning potential, particularly with affiliate marketing as well for crafting. So it was more of an accident, but now I've got to the stage where it's, no, I really want to make a go of this. So that for me, the motive is still sharing the knowledge. Once a learning and development specialist, always a learning and development specialist. That's my thing. It's sharing the knowledge. But I also am enjoying the fact that it's earning me a living now, and it would be great if that increased, obviously. But yeah, so what are we seeing down in chat here? Would like more views, but more about the creative process, says Kristin. Rose doesn't care about the views. What else have we got? Gert wants to get views and subs to buy more crafts. I'm sensing a lot of that sort of thing with the group, actually, that a lot of them are doing it just with the intention of it's all right, I'll have to just interrupt here just to say Mark's just passed me a note saying drink less.
Oh,
Shandy. Shandy, I'm on lemonade now. Look, he's just brought me a lemonade. That was Shandy. Perfect. Anyway, yes. Yeah, I'm getting the sense that quite a lot of the group would like to be funding the hobbies, because particularly resin craft, which a lot of this group are, crafts just are expensive. So I think for a lot of us, it's more about having fun doing it, making friends and sharing the crafts. But as Lula's just pointed out, that's Nerd Goblin Art, she's very proud of reviews, but she's even more proud of the subscribers messaging to say they tried something. It's inspiring people, isn't it? There's a lot of that. Are any of us absolutely keen to make a full-time living doing this? Is that, obviously we all enjoy the creative side. I mean, that goes without saying, but is anybody really intending to go for it and make it a full-time living? Because I'm not seeing anybody saying that yet, which is interesting.
Kristin mentions that. She says, absolutely. And I think, here's what's really interesting, because I really like my photography. I love my photography. And when I start projects, my number one goal is not to make money. It's never been my driving force. But at the same time, like, I really dedicate myself to the craft of creating something, and I want to have the crossover. And that's what I think is really beautiful, is we don't have to give up our intentions with our creativity and being expressive, but we can do it in a way where there's a lot of overlap, often, not for everybody, but for me, it's been the case of where I can make something, but I can take the intent of the audience and I can think about what they're interested in. And I can look for where, this is all the stuff that's important to me. And then this is what the viewers want to watch. And often in the middle is this incredible overlap. And for more than 23 or 24 years, I've just been really curious about creating. So for me, it might not be a craft, but creating a website in a strategic manner is pretty creative. Or making a video. Like, I went on a road trip and I have literally 3 terabytes of footage. It was too much. And I made this beautiful travel cinematic vlog and these clips from the Riverwalk in San Antonio and Big Bend National Park, and throughout Texas, in El Paso and into Santa Fe. And that video didn't get a ton of views, and I kind of knew that, and that was okay. But a lot of my videos do get views. So for me, it's just finding that place in the middle where I'm excited about to share and teach. Like, I know you mentioned, Tracy, like, how do we do this thumbnail thing? Like, that is a very creative process. And coming up with something that really works, and really allows your video and your message to reach more people is so very powerful. And it's just amazing to me how simple it really is. It's not about a striking, beautiful image. We'll get into this more as we move on, but it's much more about the messaging behind the title and the thumbnail, and then really packaging it up, which again, we can get into. But, that's a little bit about my beginning. And it was just so fun for me to be able to build websites and learn. Like I remember, talking about art and whatnot. One of my first affiliate endeavors was I made a website way back in the day. Now, here's what's so interesting is like I targeted affiliate marketing. I was absolutely trying to make money. But the website, I was talking a lot about artists like Picasso. Most people know, I think it's his blue period, but he's also got a rose period. And I learned about his rose period. And I got to explore and learn more. But while I was building this website about posters and prints and whatnot, and then that allowed me to make, I remember going from, struggling chef making minimum earnings, barely making a living, to almost being able to maybe replace my income within 3 months. And a big part of that was this simple website back in the day. And that really showed me the possibility of creating content online and trying to find, like, I'm super excited about this thing, and I also want to make money from this thing. So if that doesn't have the audience, if they're not excited to listen more, then I'm out.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, for me, I think it is another creative process. And I think most of us like to, if we create something, we want to share it. And most crafty types would love to be able to share what they do with as many people as possible. And a lot of us dreamt one day of making a living out of making a thing. And this is actually a viable way of doing it. By helping others, we can actually earn an income that then funds the hobby and maybe will. So it's all this cycle of creativity, isn't it? Which is quite an amazing thing.
It's all about understanding what kind of videos to make for yourself and for the audience. There's
a question I've been meaning to ask you, particularly. How do you know so much about YouTube? Because I watch you. I watch Nick Nimmin, who I know is a friend of yours. I watch people at vidIQ and people like that. That's how I learn about YouTube. How do you learn about YouTube?
Yeah, what's really interesting is, like, I don't know how I did this, but when I started my channel, like like, you use the word guru, and that's used in such a negative way these days. A lot of people, not everybody, but I think so many people say that word, and it's like, gurus, and they just want your money. It's like, man, I just opened up memberships, and that's the first thing I've promoted in a year and a half. Like, literally, like, I had a brand deal and I let that go. But like, when I started, I had this idea of, I'm going to grow a channel and I'm going to share how I'm doing it. And God, the audacity of when I think about that, like, I had 0 views and 0 subscribers. And how do you actually talk about doing the thing you haven't even done yet? So what's interesting is I did kind of pull a few of my marketing cards, my strategies and whatnot. And one of the things I did was I said, well, I really don't like the number one thing most people want that watch my kind of videos is channel growth, more views, more subscribers, more watch time. How does the algorithm work, and so on. Now, I didn't really have that to share. So what I tried to do instead is I thought a little bit broader, and this is actually, everybody here can use this. And I'm guessing some of you have thought about this, but maybe you haven't done it. And if you want to make more money, I'm going to encourage you to, because there's nothing more amazing than publishing a video that makes $500 a month on autopilot for 3 years. It's just like, wow, one video. But what I did was I thought, well, I can't really demonstrate how to get views because my channel is brand new. But what I can do is I can teach video editing. And I wonder if some of those people that were watching videos about video editing would be interested in growing a channel. So that was one of the playlists that I had early. So one is video editing. A second was all about branding. So, and here's another, what's so amazing is I think often people are really limited by how they think and what they can do. Like, oh, I can't talk about YouTube growth. I haven't done that yet. Who cares? Like, it's not brain surgery. Nobody dies on the table. You're not going to get flunked out of YouTube. Like, we're making little videos for the internet. And I think it's just a matter of finding a way to talk about the things to get the results that you want, and then to take the next step. So another method that I use quite a bit and so many creators do, is what I call the piggyback method, where you take the results from someone else and then you break them down. That's why you see a lot of video breakdowns on creators who have gotten millions of views, because that allows the creator not to have all the knowledge and to say, this is what this person did, this is what Mr. Beast did, and so on. And furthermore, I think it's really fascinating. I've done that quite a bit back in the day. And along the way, you start to learn. And then what's interesting too is, so by doing that, I had one playlist on video editing. I had another on branding. So when I talked about the piggyback method, I talked about branding, and I pulled from Steve Jobs. And that video, I published a video on day 10 of my YouTube channel, and it was so weird and awkward. And I'm whistling, and I'm just so quirky times 20. And yet, because the title was solid, because of the thumbnail was solid, and I guess I kept them watching just long enough because I was so weird, that video went on and did really well. So now I had the ability to come back and make a video and say, hey, you know what? And this is another strategy I've talked for many, many years. Is like, even if you're just getting started and you're thinking, I'm not sure I can talk about this because I'm a newbie, you totally can. You play your hand. If you're a newbie, you play into that. Hey, I don't really know what I'm doing, but this is the result that I just got, and I have to share this with you. It's really exciting. So that's kind of how I pivoted from, I can't talk about YouTube growth without doing it. Like, that is just, it doesn't make sense. It'll take too long. And even now I'm doing that, and people are like, you don't have enough views, and I don't watch you. Your videos are amazing. But what's funny is, like, the numbers keep going up and up as I'm coming back. So that's kind of how I got the ball rolling, as I got those results, and then I talked about it. And then I did it again. And then I made a video about the algorithm, because I already knew that based on what I'd learned back in the day with with Google SEO and whatnot. Good to see all the people in the house, by the way.
Yeah,
16 people here. What's happening, everybody?
Crowding. Yeah, we should get quite a lot on the replay as well. We normally do, because this group very much spans time zones too. So we will catch a few on the replay as well. Incidentally, if after this anybody does watch this on replay and you've got any more questions, just chuck them in the video comments, because I'm sure we'll get to the questions for you and see what we can do. So what you've done there, from what you're saying, Brian, is it's quite a lot of it is actual experience. It's the stuff that you've learned from the actual technical information out there, but a lot of it's been by actually just doing it and what you've discovered for yourself.
Yeah, that's how I operate. Like, I'm super curious about how all this stuff works. And when I started, I was like, this internet is going to be big, and I'm going to be a part of it. And I just, I was so excited about creating things like a website. And then when I started, I didn't try to make money. So a lot of people that try to make money, I didn't. I tried to gain the skills that I would need to make money. So I started a website about cooking, because I was a professional chef for many years. And then I took that and I started driving tons of visits. They're called visits on a website. And I kept sharing my experience. And that's what I do today. So
I think that's what makes it so powerful. It's not just all textbook learning and regurgitating what other people have said. It's I've done this and this is how it works, which is just amazing.
Absolutely.
So shall we move on and tackle some of the questions that people have sent in then?
Yeah.
Thanks for that, Brian.
I want to say hi to Mike. Hey, Mike, good to see you. And Johnny, and people are saying hi to Mike and all the cool people. It's good to see everybody here. And it's always so nice to connect with people on a live stream. It's really about kind of a group effort. So, if you guys have questions, Tracy's going to take them. I can't wait to jump in.
I'll have a go. Just so that you're aware, Brian, I've only done probably about a dozen lives before. And this is the first time I've done a live with somebody on screen, actually, as a guest as such. I've done a couple of 2-ups just chatting to a friend on a topic, but not like this. So I'm really enjoying it. Thank you.
Yeah, isn't it fun?
Yeah, it is. Now, right, shall I hit you with the questions that the gang have sent in for us?
Let's do it.
Well, first one comes back to, see, look, I'm organised. I've got notes and everything.
Fancy.
First one comes back to talking about your YouTube journey, and this brings me around to the topic that you've been talking about quite recently on your channel, and this came from Gert, and she wanted to know, did you ever get to the point where you thought you should quit, and why? Now, I know you've actually done a video on this recently, and this comes back to how you ended up resurrecting a channel that had gone quiet. So is that something you could talk about for us?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like, did I ever think about quitting? No, but I quit. I just kind of did it, like, so for my story, and I think it's such a personal thing, right? For me, I just went through a really tough time. I was married for 19 years with my ex-wife for 24 years. And we went through this divorce, and I just needed time to find myself again. I mean, I moved to a new city, and, I'm a pretty basic dude. I love to make my content and do my stuff and go out and travel and see friends, a few times a month. And that fulfills me, and I didn't have a really big part of my life that I was used to. So I had to kind of recalibrate, and I stepped away, and I did the best I could with what I have. And this is one of the things I really want to encourage anybody, that if you're going through a tough time, or if YouTube seems really tough, to know that by doing the best you can with what you got right now will get you there. And what I found very interesting is I thought I would be done on my primary channel just because I had talked about so many things. But what I really discovered was I was going through this very difficult time, and I did upload maybe a video a month for like 3 years. By the time, starting around 2020, and by the time I got to 2023, I hadn't uploaded in over 8 months. So my channel was doing nothing in terms of what you might think. And I think this can be a real big can of worms in terms of what people think success is and what it should be. And they've never really done it. So maybe they should stop thinking and hypothesizing and telling you how many views you should have based on your subscriber count. My channel was doing 200 views a day. And what happened is I walked away, and then I guess it was about 2024 in the fall, I started coming back. And what's interesting, and you mentioned this at the beginning of the live stream, is I launched another channel. And again, I wasn't trying to make money. I'm a creative dude, and I wanted to talk about some new stuff. I made a channel about photography, and a lot of my early videos now have tens of thousands of views. And again, I think it's this ability to really honor what people want to watch and what I want to create. And the fact is, a lot of people do really want the views. I think a lot of you folks here are more into the creative thing, and I think that's beautiful. But the moment we're like, I really want more, then we have to honor what people want to watch. And I think there's always a way to find that happy place in the middle that I spoke about earlier. So I started making videos about macro photography, and sure enough, a few months later, my videos were getting a lot of views, and I felt really excited about that. And maybe another year passed, and then I started in 2023 with getting more serious, and then 2024, about a year later, I was in this place where I was more comfortable with my life. I had gone through the divorce. It had been a number of years, and I felt the creative spark that is inside of me reigniting. And I'm like, shit, pardon my French, but damn it, I love this dude. This guy is fun. He's just got all these ideas. And I thought, I'm gonna do this on full tilt. And here's what I want to tell anybody. Like, if you really want massive success on YouTube, there has to be a season where you really do dedicate yourself and focus, and you honor that audience. And we all get to decide, though. Like, for me, I do make a lot of videos where it's just not about getting views. They're vlogs, there's the cinematography, the photography. And a lot of the stuff I started with was so weird because that's what I wanted to do. But as I started kind of feeling this creative spirit, it always happens, I swear to God. Hold my calls. I got to talk to my assistant. If only I had one. Damn it. And so as I moved forward, I kind of thought, what do I really want to achieve? And what am I good at? And I'm young enough to make it happen, but damn, I don't have 25 years. I've got another 10 years where, God willing, I'm able to really do something at a high level and whatnot. And I look back at, and I'm going to get emotional now. I look back at some of my videos, like some of them were like documentaries, breaking down charisma, understanding what that means, cool editing and storytelling. And I'm like, wow, I was really good at that. Yeah, and that from that point on, I just said, I'm going back to my YouTube channel, and I came back, and it's been a slow burn. But what's interesting is also the slow burn has been like my motivation and my intensity and my excitement to reach a higher level. And I think when you really decide, like I really want this, I think when you get in the groove, things develop that support you in getting there, like a workflow. Like I don't hear a lot of people talking about a workflow, but if you don't have a strong YouTube workflow, it will always be an uphill battle because it's hard to make videos if you don't have a strong workflow. If you don't know how to prioritize what's most important, it's really hard to win. Like, how do you win on YouTube when you don't know what the game is? I mean, imagine, just like close your eyes and imagine you're an alien and you're dropped down on this tennis court and they say, play the game. And you don't know how the game is played. And there's a basketball, a tennis racket, and some golf clubs. Which one do you pick up? You don't know. You don't know how the rules of the game are. And I think these are the things that are so critical. And the good news for everybody here is the most important thing is how we tell a story, how we inspire people with our words, but also how we use the camera. Hopefully it's close enough where you can see right in my eyes. You can see that I got a little emotional. Like, that's really, really important. It doesn't have to be an expensive camera, but if you're not trying to dial those things in, it is a little bit harder to connect with the video and the person in the video, right? I mean, how many times have you watched a video where the background is just really messy or someone's really distracted? It's impossible to connect.
Yeah.
Because the person making the video is creating this vibe that's blocking you from connecting with them. And it's taken me a long time to learn how to dial things in to where I'm at today. But it sure is fun, so I don't know how we got on that tangent and rant, but I'm going to stop talking now. So
well, suffice it to say, all that passion, that interest, all that thought process has completely resurrected your channel after that break. So it just shows that it can be done. Because what are you at now? About 168,000 nearly?
What's really fun is thank you for asking. Numbers. I think right now my subscriber gain is about 500 in the month, which is not a lot. That's actually not accurate. It's close to maybe 1,500, 1,600 subscribers in a month. But a lot of people unsubscribe because, I asked ChatGPT the other day, and I'm sure a lot of you hate AI, or maybe I shouldn't assume anything. But generally speaking, based on what I've learned about different YouTubers and whatnot, and I said, how many, imagine 1,000 YouTubers walk into this huge, huge room, big party for new YouTubers, and they're high-fiving each other. They're so excited. We're all going to blow up. I said, how many are still making videos 2 years later? And the answer I got was somewhere between 100 and 200. So, a lot of people give up. And I think for a channel like mine, it's interesting because you're going to subscribe to learn, but then you're going to give up 3 months later. And then when you see my video, it reminds you of the fact that you kind of gave up on the dream, or maybe you just decided it wasn't right for you, whatever. But so people unsubscribe. So there's a lot of unsubscribes, but I am starting to do really well. And those numbers are growing. And like today, I published a video yesterday, I should say, and it's got 5,500 views in 24 hours. So I'll take it.
It's good. Yeah, that's a nice one. Cool. Right, shall we talk about all these thumbnails? Can we get onto
Let's do
thumbnails?
it.
This was the most asked question.
Okay.
And the backdrop to this is that I'll read you the questions because there's a whole bunch of these. But the backdrop to this is I think most of us know this principle of, just very few words, big clear image, eye-catching colours, keeping it very simple and crisp. But how do you do that when you're going to be making a thing? Do you show the finished thing? Do you show the materials? What's the image that you put in? So that is where a dilemma seems to be. So I'll read this out to you, but the general, if I read them all out to you, you'll probably have one lovely big answer that'll pick the whole lot up, I think. So my question on it myself started with our thumbnails can be tricky, I think. Things, we kind of know what works, but how to apply it to our niche. So what should the image be? I think that's the biggest thing. And Gert then added, yes, how to tweak them so they don't look like everyone else's, because there's a lot of people in our niche now. It's not unusual. Every niche has got a lot of people. We've got a lot. Sandy then said, how to make thumbnails so the art, they also don't look overproduced, too AI-ish, unless that's deliberately the look you're looking for. Mm-hmm. And then Sally at All Aboard Resin Creations asked, should we show the end make? Should we use AI images that aren't 100% true to the end results? And what software to use? I think that's the whole thing on thumbnails. It's all around that, basically. There's a collaboration question here. Don't know why it's particularly a collaboration one. Random image from the video. Not sure which works best. Yeah. What do we do with thumbnails?
I think that the place to start is with really understanding what are we trying to achieve? Like, what is success? If you want to get more views, if you want to get more watch time, then we want to boost our CTR. Now, the CTR, you may or may not know, is basically the percentage of people clicking on your thumbnail. So when you make a video and you publish it, YouTube is going to show it on the home screen. Like, imagine I just log in right now. Okay, so I got a newfangled little mobile device, this iPhone. If I
fancy
click
phone thing.
Yeah. And here we have, so this is YouTube finally stopping AI slop videos on July 15th? Now, what's really interesting is I've watched some videos from doing it with Briggs, and that's why this video showed up #1. But what's also really, really interesting is his use, and I think a lot of people are starting to think about this term, which is AI slop videos, AI slop. Has anybody heard that here? And I just would love to get your comments if you're watching this live, like, where are you at with thumbnails and with AI? Just a few sentences. But the first place to start with is really the title. And when we want to think about the video packaging and the thumbnail, we really want to create something that together works as a team to get those people to click, right? So like when I scrolled on here, so there's AI slop channels, there's Briggs video again. It's just kind of auto playing, but I haven't really clicked it. So there has to be some stuff in the title that compels me as a viewer to click. I need to be really interested in that. Now, that's one of the things that I've taught for years, and I'm really excited because I literally just did a huge breakdown on the video that I published, talking about all the tools I use, all the methods I use. I do use AI, but I don't think anybody has ever said, I hate the way you make your videos. And even people that really don't like AI, because I'm using it in a way to really understand the audience and really make the video I want to make. But #1, I said, I have to be interested. So one of the things you want to really add into your title and your thumbnail is a compelling element. And the thing that I always focus on is feelings. Maya Angelou, she said this, and I think it's so powerful. for YouTube, and that is people won't remember what you said. People won't remember what you did, but people will always remember how you made them feel. Okay, so what I want to do is I really want to think about the video I want to create. And if I'm really excited and I'm happy and I'm so filled with joy and excitement about this new craft thing, then I want to like convey that in my title and my thumbnail, but just as important, how I begin my video. I don't want to say hi, welcome, blah, blah. No, I'm like, wow, I made this craft. Look at this beautiful thing. And I want that to echo what the title is and what the thumbnail is. So one of the things I mentioned is being really compelling and really focusing on this emotion. And what's so amazing is like when you understand the fundamentals of what go into a title and a thumbnail, you don't have to be a genius when it comes to the psychology of people and getting them to click, because ChatGPT will do a great job for free. And furthermore, when you start combining this with the ability to split test thumbnails, which is free and nobody does it. And a lot of people say, well, it doesn't work because I don't have enough views. It's like, well, it doesn't work. A lot of times it's not the tool, it's how you use the tool, right? So like if I give you a box of paints and I say, this is what Picasso painted with, go paint a Picasso. Like who here can do that? Not me, but understanding that I want to create a title that has a keyword phrase in it. And it's not about ranking in search. The algorithm, when you have a title, that 3 words like beginner craft, resin beginner craft, or whatever you mentioned, Tracy, when I start with that, and that's one of the parameters that I'll give ChatGPT is I'll say, I need you to help me come up with YouTube titles. This part is powerful, under 55 characters. Okay, so paint like Picasso, exactly, Julia. So what I'll do is I'll say 55 characters maximum, because if I have a long title, it's going to get truncated and you're not going to see the whole title if you're on a phone. So first off, I need you to give me 20 thumbnail titles that are less than 55 characters, and the topic is this. So like, give me a topic that you see in a lot of successful craft videos, Tracy.
A lot of the titles we see are epic this, game changer that.
No, that's not the topic. Epic would be, exactly. For me, that would be compelling. That's trying to compel a viewer. But like, what is it they're going to get? Is it a craft for beginners? Is it how to paint with resin, or how to do craft resin work?
That's the way I try to go. I know I don't always get it right either, but I try to go along the lines of, this is what this video is about. This is what you're going to get.
Yeah, so
a combination of that and the thumbnail cements that. And then I try to cover off in the first few words of the video, right, we're going to do this. So people know that actually, yeah, that is what you're going to get. And I'm also, am I right in saying that when the videos auto run at the start, when you hover over and they auto run, it's that first bit of your video as well. So that's another argument for not putting in.
That's absolutely going to happen.
So that's another argument for not putting an introduction or a jingle or a
do-it-yourself basket weaving. Okay. Now Mike has got a great example here. Let me go to YouTube.
Go on, Mike. Go, Mike.
Mike is one of my coaching students, so he kind of understands some of my thought processes and whatnot. Let me move this over here. So resin flower bloom. Okay, so let me do this. How do I share my screen? Share screen. YouTube. Yeah. YouTube. Okay, great. There's the video from Briggs. Resin flower bloom. Okay, here's how to do this. Can you guys see my screen?
Hang on, I've just got to okay it. There we are. We can now. Yes.
Okay, so do you guys see how I'm typing into the search bar?
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, this is really awesome in terms of understanding what people are interested in. Oh, shoot. Pardon me, that was my microphone. I tipped it over. And what's interesting is you can see here, I've got these different keywords, right? And these are all really popular. Like this one here is very interesting because it's resin art for beginners. And if I find, I don't see anything that starts with A, but these are not listed in alphabetical, right? Like if it was alphabetical, then this 3D printer, I think Resin Crafts would be above it. Maybe not, but like here we go, resin diorama. Like this would be further up here, you know, but or resin printing, but it's not. It's further down, and that's because it's probably not as popular as this phrase here. And I know that to be true because almost always in a subject, in a niche, whatever a channel is about, like targeting beginners is usually a big, broad audience. So if I start off and I say, I want to make a video about resin art for beginners, that really covers a lot of different things. And Tracy, you even mentioned at the beginning of our show, like you made a video and it targeted beginners and it did well. So here I see 73,000 views a year ago. Here I see epoxy resin for beginners and so on. So what I'll do personally is I'll first really think about, this is what I mentioned by the topic or the keyword, is that I want to identify, let me see, here's the window. I want to identify a 2, maybe 3 or 4 word phrase that people are actively searching for. And then what I'll do, and you can do this with AI or without. Like if you're opposed to AI, it's not a big deal. Just learn the psychology of the click, learn what compels people, study other titles. And what you mentioned, Tracy, is like epic, extraordinary, you'll never believe what happened. To me, those are all really compelling phrases around emotion and whatnot, you know? So when you combine those together, you can really create some powerful video titles that include something that's going to get people to click and also something that's based on what people are actively searching for and so on. And this is so very powerful because now we're working on the title and we can kind of get that in alignment. And then what I'll do is I do the thumbnail testing. And the thumbnail testing is powerful because the best way for me to get views, and let me see if I have some of these thumbnails on my iPad. I do a lot of work on my iPad. Here we go. So like this is a really great example. Like this thumbnail did really excellent, right? And all it is like a simple image of me in my studio, and then behind is this phrase and this word. And the word is again really based on compelling viewers to click. And when you combine these things together, that's a really powerful way to make a title and a thumbnail that work together to increase the click. And then what's even more interesting is you can do test and compare inside of YouTube. So like this thumbnail outperformed another one that was, I'm trying to remember what the phrase was. Let me, nope, that was today. Yesterday. Oh, here we go. So this is all I do. Like literally, if you can spend an extra 10 seconds, I guarantee you'll boost your watch time if you do this. Because what we're really focusing on is getting more people to click. So I hope maybe we make it seem complicated. It's super simple. It really is.
Yeah. And that's I do think we overcomplicate.
I like to keep things, like my methodology is so stupid simple. And literally by the time the video is uploading, I've got 3 thumbnails done based on a simple workflow that I talked about earlier. So like this was one of the phrases. They didn't tell you everything. So I made this video about the new monetization changes. People are really worried. This works really well. Think about a title, you know, big YouTube monetization changes go in effect, something like that. And they didn't tell you everything. So that was one of the phrases I came up with. Another one was, easily missed. 2 words that really, like, you might have missed something. Like, that was intentional. Like, if you've watched videos on this, you might have missed something.
That's that fear of missing out thing, isn't it?
And then here's another one. Remember, the clock is ticking. Okay, this thumbnail outperformed this thumbnail by 35%. Now imagine getting 35% more watch time based on the words that you're using. So in my opinion, I think this is a really cool way to simplify and streamline how to make thumbnails and titles, because you're basically doing your best to make it easy for the algorithm to connect your video with all the people that want it. That's the topic, the keyword phrase. And then number 2, we're thinking about, like, what are additional words that we can use in the thumbnail to get people to click. And I don't ever really know what's going to win. I have some ideas. Now and then there are a few phrases that always win, no matter what. Like back in the day, my thumbnails would say, get more views. That's not as nearly effective as even if you suck, which I hate this. I really hate this because I don't think people suck. But what do I do when people hit that thumbnail so much more often because they're in this place where I'm not that great? I don't think it's going to work, but it says, even if I suck, click. And that dramatically boosts my thumbnail and video title performance. So that's the way I do it. And I try to keep it simple. It really is pretty simple, but if you've never really thought about keywords, if you've never really thought about like being compelling and whatnot, it can be challenging, but that's what's nice about AI. Is all you have to say is, please give me 20 phrases that are between 1 and 4 words for this video title. I want you to go ahead and to please target at different emotions that people might have, like FOMO, fear of missing out, or desire, more views, or what's the other one? Curiosity is the biggest one. Like when people really don't understand, but there's something they want, powerful. And tags don't matter at all. Tags
actually
have zero.
We've got a question on tags coming up, so we'll come on to that one. That's a good one to ask. Just before we move off this particular topic, though, Julia's asked a question which I've just popped on the screen, and I think that's a bit of a rhetorical question. I think we probably know the answer to that one. I think in the crafting world, and I'm sure in many other niches, we see a lot of, you'll never believe what happened, when it's something that, well, we know that, or epic when it's not. The misleading. And I think we can be quite emotional about it. We can be exciting about it. But there is a dividing line, I think, where our credibility completely goes down the pan. If everything's epic and everything's game-changing and everything, you're not going to believe what happened, when it's actually fairly mundane. I think there's a certain amount of people balancing bit where people need to trust us as well, you know?
Yeah, like how many times has epic been used? Or you'll never believe what happens. Like that can be really great if it's true. Like if you lived a story and you're like, I can't believe what happened, and you kind of show the end, like, I can't believe I got to this point. Like this might be really good for like a crazy vacation cinematic vlog kind of thing. Like, I can't believe I'm here. You like film the intro, 4 days into your filming because something is happening, and like, how did I get here? You'll never believe how we got here. Like that is really authentic, but I never lie. I never try to drum up something that's not true. Like my thumbnails that say you might have missed it. A lot of people, like, the truth of the matter for me that's really challenging is a lot of people think they know, and I don't believe that's the case. So for me, I'm trying to help people and they think they know, and I already understand that. And it's like, but then why are your thumbnails so poor, and why are you struggling to get views,
That makes sense. Shall we move on to talk about tags? And this was the question that was asked.
Can we ask if anybody has questions, though? Does that make...
Actually, yeah. Yeah, let's do that now. We're going to save them till the end, but yeah, let's pick them up as we go along.
Well, I'm curious if anybody, does that make sense as far as how to make thumbnails? And what I would say is, like, try to create a workflow that makes it easy for you to create thumbnails that do stand out, that are colorful. Like, here are some more thoughts. Really simple, basic rule of thirds, you know, like a third here. Like, I'm looking at my camera, I'm in a square, so I'm looking at my monitor where I've got like a 16:9, but like I'm sure most of you know, I hope, the rule of thirds principle, which we kind of divide imagery into thirds, and less is more. Like, my thumbnails were super basic, simple, not a lot of things, because I want that messaging to stand out more. So I think that's what's really important to understand. I still really want to go back into my studio and take actual photos because they look a little bit crisper, but I'm kind of valuing moving fast these days and kind of breaking things and kind of getting pretty darn good versus really great photo, because what matters more is the messaging between the title and the thumbnail. And a screen cap, like literally all I do is, as I'm finishing up an edit or on my iPad or my iPhone, I just take a screenshot and then I add the words and I'm done.
Yeah, I've taken to doing that, and I've got a template that seems to be working okay. So I just keep tweaking it and reusing it with different image, but the same basic layout. Yeah. So can we pick up the tags question? I think you've already given us the answer there. Susie asked, oh, and by the way, Amy, no, we'll come back to your question in a moment. That is on the list to do, and it's a good question. So we'll come back to that in a moment. Susie from Serendipity Creations asked, I've been using vidIQ. It sort of encourages you to add tags. Other people say that putting hashtags in your description works better. I'd like to know which is best and what's more effective. And I must admit, I'm not big on tags. I just chuck a few in because the space is there. So there must be some sort of purpose for it. So I just chuck a few in and don't spend too much time on it. But what's the difference between tags and hashtags? And are they worth bothering with? And you kind of touched on this a minute ago. So would you like to elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I can share is, let's do this again, okay? Give me uno momento, and we'll kind of talk about what really matters. Let's talk about like what really matters in getting views, and this will kind of answer the question about hashtags and tags, and we'll cover that. So if I go to screen share, and then I look at video analytics, here we go right here. So this is a video that I'm going to kind of reduce the screen size a little bit and then kind of make this like here. So I published this video yesterday. Okay, if we go to the studio homepage, the first thing I would say is you don't really have to pay a huge amount of attention to your analytics, but there are just a few things to focus on, and that's what we're going to cover right now, and then we'll get to tags. But first off, you can see here that this is pretty interesting. More subscribers are choosing to watch this video, helping to increase its reach. See details. Okay, if we click that, notice it says views are 3.5 times higher than usual. And again, more subscribers are choosing to watch. Now, what this means is they're clicking more often. And then it says that the topic, the title, or the thumbnail. Okay, so subscribers, this isn't the general CTR, if you know what that is. This is just generally speaking, a lot of the subscribers of my channel are watching more. And because of that, it's getting more YouTube recommendations. Okay, so this gray box here, this box here, okay, this blue line represents how many views I got, you know, hour by hour. So by hour 4, the video had over 1,000 views. And then by hour 8, it had over 2,200 views. And then it started to really take off about 3 to 4 hours in, and it was doing 300-400 views an hour. And, you know, 24 hours in, it had, there it is, the first day, 5,548. And then here here it is. So higher click-through rate from channel subscribers. So it typically says the average for my channel, subscribers on average click between 4.8 and 5.8%. But this video, it's nearly double that. Now, here's why this really matters. The thing that really truly matters on YouTube is getting people to engage on your video. Okay, engage. Now, I'm going to get to tags, but this is what you want. If you want to get more views and to have more of a community, if you want more of those amazing emails from fans and friends, then this is how it works, is you've got to get people to engage. And one of the way people engage is by clicking. The more they click, the better you're going to do. But it goes beyond that because we got to get them to also watch. So if we go back here to, I think it's channel dashboard. Okay. So here it says it had a pretty high click-through rate. But if we come here, we can also see that like this video, it really crushed my 1 out of 10 chart, right? It's number 1 and so on. And then if we look here, we have 2 more metrics or 2 or 3 metrics. 1 doesn't count. The views doesn't count. This is how I think about this. The views are the result that I want. I can't focus on views and get more views. However, the impression click-through rate can help me get there. If I double my click-through rate, that's double the people clicking on my video. But here's what really makes it work. You can't grow a channel unless people watch for a long period of time. Now, if we look here, it says the average view duration was 4 minutes and 37 seconds. And if we look here again, that can kind of be reflected in the watch time. You see how I'm kind of mousing over watch time? Because if we take how often people are clicking and then how long they're watching, right? Then we're going to get a really good indication of the overall performance of the video. So let's go first 24 hours. No, that's not. Oh, here we go. So when I launched the video, a lot of who's watching in the first hour? Well, subscribers and regular viewers. They're more likely to watch longer, to click more. And my average view duration is, 5.5 minutes, 5 minutes, 22 seconds. And then it starts dropping, right? And this is really a great indication of engagement and how much people are really enjoying the video. See, the way to really move forward and crush YouTube is you have to do 2 things. You have to understand what people are interested in, and that's the CTR and the video topic. So when we talked about video topic, resin craft for beginners. That's the topic. And then how long they watch is really the measurement of how satisfied they are. So when I come back here again and just kind of finish up, you can see here, like the overall watch time was substantial, but notice it starts dropping 16 hours in. Now I've only got an average view duration of 4 minutes and 38 seconds because these viewers are probably mostly new to my channel. A lot of people, I'm going to be too old or too slow or not flashy enough. And here it's all the way down to 352. But at the end of the day, when we look at just this one metric, watch time, it's far above average. It's a green arrow, and this line represents this video compared to what I normally get, which is gray. And these are the things to really focus on. And the reason tags don't really matter is because they don't really help YouTube understand how satisfied viewers are. Viewers can't see tags, and they're based on an archaic system that was put in place many 20 years ago when the algorithm was not as sophisticated and couldn't measure things like watch time and click-through rate and so on. So now the way to win is to do your best to tell an engaging story, to make a great video, to get people to click more and to keep them watching longer. I know it's like so basic and you've heard it a million times, right? But that's the game. So then the game becomes not wondering about tags or what time to publish. Do you really care? Like your favorite YouTuber, you click, right? When you see the video, are we on the same page? You click. Yeah. So the thing to think about is, I want to be a ninja at what really matters, and it's literally 10 things, and that's it. YouTube tags really can't get you there. Again, they were added 20 years ago because the algorithm really didn't have the ability to understand what an audience truly loves. And that's the thing. You have to get people to show a lot of interest. That's how often they're clicking. And you have to back that up. And here's the last thing, and I'm going to shut up, is YouTube titles and thumbnails do not grow channels. I know that sounds weird after what I said, but the reason I say that is, if you can't keep people watching long enough, it won't matter. You can take the same title that I have, the same kind of thumbnail message, but if you can only keep people watching for 1 minute, you will never perform like my video performed, because YouTube has this idea of satisfaction. And the satisfaction score is higher because they watched longer. So the thing to do is to figure out how to create videos simply and easily, and practice communicating and knowing what to cut and how to structure. And okay.
No, wise words, definitely. It's another one of those things that we overcomplicate. Somebody, Sherry Hart has asked for some advice on hooks. So this comes back to that very start of the videos. She says that until now, I've wanted suspense at the beginning. So I started with my empty work area and me talking about what I'm going to do until today. And she's started doing voiceovers now instead, which has led her to jump straight in a lot more. What's your thoughts on that?
When we talk about really understanding satisfaction, another metric that's very important is how many people are still watching at 30 seconds. Mm-hmm. So you might think it's really suspenseful and fun and there's nothing there, but somehow, like, the suspense kind of thing can work, but somehow you've got to grab people's attention and make sure they don't click off. Let me do this again. So what I would say to that is, let's go to Studio and Analytics. So here you can see, 2,000 a day, 1,900 a day, and then boom, yesterday 4,200. And now, like, this video is doing 300 views an hour. It's amazing. And if I scroll down here, you're going to see some of the videos that have done well over the last 28 days. And this video in particular, I think, really highlights this point I want to make. Number one, this video was published, I think, 6 or 7 months ago, and it still does, 200 views a day. And those really add up, 58,000 views. Yeah. And check this out. Here's the thing that I think is really important. And this is another way that YouTube does its best to understand how satisfied viewers are with a video, which is how often people click out. So I need to minimize the screen a little bit. And it says key moments for audience retention. And this graph simply measures how many people are still watching. And then we have this little blurb down here. And it says 71% of viewers are still watching around the 30-second mark. So I'm going to make this a little bit larger now. Okay, so 71% right here is basically, at 23 seconds, it's 73% of the audience is still watching. On a bad video, I might have 58%, but this video, for whatever reason, kept people's attention. And this is another thing that we want. This is the whole keep them watching longer. YouTube is simple. Get them to click, get them to stick. That's it. That's the game. And it's easy to overcomplicate, and that's okay. But if you're going to overcomplicate this. Not about YouTube tags, or not when to publish, or what day, or why doesn't my, like, really trying to figure out how to keep people watching. And you'll notice that the gray is my average performance, and this video did a lot better. And again, it really kept people watching. So what I would say to the person with the question is, pay attention to your audience retention. And that was like total Dr. Seuss moment. It rhymed and everything. And look at how they perform based on the different styles. Like the data is there. And we don't have to go super nerdy. Like literally all I really do is I pull up my app, I go to the homepage, and I'm like, okay, the CTR is 5.4%, and the average watch time is 438, and the video did 5,500 views. Like higher click-through rate, longer watch time. Those are the things to really mention. I hope that helps. It's hard to know exactly without seeing the videos and whatnot, but I think it's really critical to grab people's attention right away. And here's a kind of a dirty little secret is I thought to myself as I was making that video, I thought, and you hear this all the time, it's so cliche, oh, honor the audience. Well, here's an example of how I did this. And first off, I used to answer this question all the time. People would ask me, what about YouTube promotion? Like if I pay $5 a month, is that going to help me? And I knew the answer, and the answer is no. But is that really honoring the audience when I could, grab my credit card and do a case study and really learn and go through the process? And as I was doing that, I started seeing other YouTubers who had videos on the same subject. And then I thought, what the viewers really want to know is, will this jumpstart their channel? And will they have an audience afterwards? Will they still be able to see views when they're done paying? That's what I thought. So what I did is I said, check out these different channels. I'm going to do a promotion right now. Here's my credit card, $200. So right there, what's going to happen? Oh man, what's going to happen? I need to find out. And then I said, not only that, I found 3 YouTubers that have done YouTube promotion. Now they stopped and I found their channels, and what I'm going to show you, you won't believe. See, now we're going to do it, Tracy. You won't believe what happened next.
I think I will. There's a video on my channel where someone that most of us know, he's got about 9,000 subscribers now, but at the time he'd got 7,000, and 5,000 had been got through YouTube promotions, which means he's got hardly any views compared to the number of subscribers. It absolutely trashed his channel, and he'd done it in all innocence. I made the same mistake, but on a much smaller scale.
Sure.
But,
what's interesting, like the way I say that though, what I'm trying to draw at is like, I was telling the story of, you won't believe what's going to happen. Like I found 3 YouTubers, let's find out if this actually worked for them. And then by the very end of my video, I'm like, this is what happened with YouTuber A, YouTuber B, and it kept people watching longer. Now you could say, I'm trying to bait people and get them to watch longer. And the truth is, absolutely. But I think it's a better viewing experience. I mean, if people are still watching, it tells me they're interested and they're satisfied, and that video went on to get, like I said, 58,000 views or something. So I would say, YouTube tags and how we, the intros matter. And it's really just about honoring those very simple things. Get them to click more and to watch longer and try different things. That's the thing we can all do. And then pay attention to these basic metrics.
Yeah, that's that particular metric, the drop off at the 30-second point, is one I used quite a lot. I noticed as soon as I stopped doing the jingles and the intros and things like that and just got straight to the point, it shot up. Yeah, the difference was quite dramatic. And getting the hook or something visually interesting going on in that first 30 seconds, when people get that autoplay at the start, it's what they're going to see. So that adds into that initial hook, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yes, 100%.
Couple of other questions here. We've got one which hopefully will be quite a quickie straight. Are you still all right for time, Brian?
Yeah, I'm good. No problem.
Okay, good. Lovely. Thank you. Talking versus not talking. There are some craft videos where the people will just have the video itself is self-explanatory. They'll have a nice bit of music going on. They'll be showing the make. They'll put a bit of text up on the screen. Versus people like me who just get verbal diarrhea the minute I start baking something. What are your thoughts on those two different approaches?
I think what I do and what I advise people I work with is to study channels that have what you want, okay, and look at the commonality. And if you find that most channels are talking and there's this one weird channel and they have all kinds of views, well, then ask, well, why are they getting views if they're not talking, and play and test that out. But I think a really interesting way to accommodate this is to first know that, well, I want to keep people watching in the beginning. So like the question on the screen is all about resin creation, which I love that channel name because it's simple, it's easy to understand, fantastic. And then, what would be a good intro to start a craft video? And what I would say is, I kind of mentioned this video I did where I talked about 3 other channels and what happened to them. And that's really a challenge format. Because if you think about it, it's kind of like a challenge is I'm going to try to accomplish something. I'm trying to achieve a result. Let's see what happened. So a really great way to boost your performance and to keep people watching is to think about these formats that work really well. And there's a reason a lot of challenge videos drive hundreds of thousands of views across multiple niches. Because you can make a challenge video like, hey, let's say you want to do a new craft. You've never done it. Like this, to me, this is fun too. Like you're like, okay, ladies and gentlemen, I've never done this. Let's see what happens. I've got this. I've got my paint. I've never done acrylics. I've got 4 colors. I've got an easel, and I'm giving myself a day. Whoa, what's going to happen? I got to keep watching. It's why reality TV does well, because you get invested in the story of what's happening, and that keeps people really watching and so on. So
it's actually funny you should say that, because Johnny, who's in our chat, has challenged me to try some of his techniques, and it's inspired me to set a whole load of challenge traces up. So I've been challenged to all sorts of random things coming up over the next few weeks. So that could be really good fun. So, by the way, at some point you might hear a bit of noise in the background because Mark's going to try and catch the cat.
No problem.
So apologies if there's cat noise going on. He's over there killing moths at the moment. He's only a baby. He's only just started going out. Where did we get up to? Oh, yes. Kristin had a question about shorts. How effective are they? Is it worth creating them for every video? And have you a suggested platform for creating them?
Shorts are big, and they're not going away. And I think for me personally, I have to start with, like, what am I trying to achieve? Like, we kind of talked about that at the beginning. Like, do you value the creativity? Do you want more views? Like, where's the line in the sand? For me, it's probably 60% success views, 40% creativity, and blending those two together. But like, I think really important element of success is how you spend your time. So for me, I'll probably play with shorts in the future, and I've done some stuff with shorts in the past, and it is very effective. And statistically speaking, you're more likely to grow if you do both. But then you're spending your time on shorts, and my question is, how much do you really enjoy that? I love long form videos. It's more cinematic, it's more photography, it's more storytelling. If you watch my videos, like I've got a nice background. I'm using a fancy camera with depth of field and the bokeh and the blurry, because that's more artistic and it's what I really love. And shorts is kind of the opposite of that. So, I mean, it could be, I could talk about bokeh, but I always kind of lean into long form. So that's the first thing. And yes, statistically speaking, people do really, really well with shorts. And I think there's a lot of crossover for people that watch shorts and long form content. And YouTube talks about this all the time. I did some experimenting with shorts, and YouTube after a while reported back that it was like, 14% of the people that watch shorts also watch your long form content. But I think you just have to measure what you really value more. So yes, shorts can be super effective and whatnot. And what I would do, what's the best platform? I would grab my phone and I would try to get something set up. Remember I mentioned workflow? I would get a small tripod that sits on my table or my desk, kind of like this, and I can just sit and talk about one thing, maybe share a few screenshots, and then I don't have to have this huge elaborate thing, and I can create a very simple short and share. Here's what I want to share with everybody is if you want to make more money, if you want to get more views, if you want to have more of a community, then the thing I shared earlier about understanding the keyword phrases and the compelling elements, I want to encourage you to really think about what you create in terms about what you talk about. So in other words, you could do a long form video or you could do a short, like it doesn't matter, but like talk about the paints that you use. Because I bet you a lot of people are searching for that and that could make you great money. You could do a review, especially if you've used a lot of paints, like talk about adding value to someone's life. Like if someone's just getting started and you've been buying paints and craft supplies for years and years, and you honestly just sit down and say, these are the things that really matter to me when it comes to paint. And I found this particular brand I love, and this one is more expensive and I'm not a fan. I think that offers a lot of value for people. And furthermore, I think that kind of a video, I would guess, I don't know, I won't tell you, what it's like to make your videos, but I bet it's a little less time consuming. And I bet if you kind of got set up for that, you could probably make that pretty quickly. And now you're publishing more videos, covering more topics, all focused around the thing you absolutely love. So just kind of wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, for everyone's information, one, if you haven't subscribed to Brian, what's the matter with you? But secondly, Brian's done very recently a video on batch filming. Now, aircraft stuff might not lend itself so well to batch filming because it takes up a lot of space. It's messy. You've got 2 days of stuff curing. But things like the product reviews that he's talking about here, actually, that would lend itself very well to that batch filming process that Brian talks about in one of his recent videos. So go and take a look. It made me stop and think about how I do some of my things. So definitely worth a watch of that one. Right. I have run out of the preset questions that people sent in, and thank you ever so much, gang, for sending those questions. I think there's some absolute crackers there, and Brian's really elaborated and gone to town with the answers for us. So hopefully everybody's really gained a lot from that. Now we're into Q&A time. If Brian's still okay for time, we can open the floor, and we've got our first one. So Sally at All Aboard Resin Creations wants to know what would be a good intro to start a craft video. Yeah, we be saying today I am making.
Yeah, I think we talked about that a little bit, and I took that question, but I think it's really about, thinking about the format. And I mean, one of the things to think about is, and I think a lot of people here, they want to honor the crafting more than YouTube, and that's totally cool. Awesome. But if you really want to see massive success, then it's more about how you make the videos and you talk about crafts, if that makes sense. It's like a lot of gamers want to share gameplay and be huge, but the best gamers are incredible at crafting videos. So the thing I would say for this is you have to try different things. And furthermore, like when I mentioned the quote by Maya Angelou, people won't remember what you said, people won't remember what you did, but they'll always remember how you made them feel. And being authentic with where you're at in the craft process, like has anybody ever done something and you almost wanted to cry because you really screwed it up and you spent tons of time and it's horrible? Like I think if you were to capture that in an authentic way, in a real way, I think that really connects with people and they see that authenticity. And for anybody that's struggling, like I try to embrace that myself for people that are struggling on YouTube, because most people fail. So a lot of people are it's just, they comment with tear emojis. I published a video with 1 million views and now they all get 5 tear emojis. So I think the thing to really focus on is asking that question. how do I start this video to capture people's attention? And for me, it's always kind of around emotion, or I need to show you this thing. Like, check this out. This is incredible. And then show them. And especially if I'm like, to really get the thing I want to show them, I have to show them 4 steps. So for me, it might be like log into YouTube Studio, click on analytics, and then look at this. What happened here led to 50,000 views. And I want to explain this to you because that's what they want. So I think really starting with thinking about emotion. And if you're excited and happy, that is such a great way to start off a video. Like, wow, I'm so excited to really break this down. This was such a joy for me because I think that's just fun to watch. Because at the end of the day, Tracy, the thing we want to think about is a great YouTube channel transcends the niche, is that people start to like the person that runs the channel. They tune in to hang out. And they also happen to like the subject of crafting, but they really dig the person. And I think when we can show up in our authentic self and be the best version of ourselves, we're trying to do well. We're trying to communicate clearly. We're honoring where we're at, happy, sad. I think these are the ways to really think about starting a video and so on. I hope this is connecting. Is anybody, somebody
it
say
certainly
something?
Is.
Somebody
is
say
for me.
something nice.
Oh, they're all happy. They're chatting away, and there's questions coming up as well. Kristen's got another one here. Editing software suggestions. I think I'm getting a lot of questions on this because a lot of our little group, when everybody was starting, I said, well, if you get Canva for your thumbnails and CapCut for your videos, I can help you because I know about those. If you get anything else, I might struggle a little bit. So a whole load of us have got CapCut, and there's been a bit of a stink about CapCut going on lately.
Yes. I think that's
what would you suggest as good editing softwares nowadays?
Yeah, honestly, I think CapCut is great. And yeah, there's the issues like we own, like whatever you're creating, we can steal, or that's tricky for sure. But like DaVinci Resolve, really powerful, free, a lot complicated, but it, like, that's it. You don't need to upgrade. I'm on Mac, so iMovie, plenty good. I think the thing to think about for me is, like, I'm not a fan of the CapCut, like, we get to keep whatever you're doing, or we can leverage your video, or I don't know exactly the terms of what's going on, but that's something that I wouldn't want. I'm not really big on monthly subscriptions. So I'm interested in Premiere Pro, but that's a monthly subscription and also really complicated. And because I'm on a Mac, I went straight to Final Cut Pro. Now, Final Cut Pro is $300, but it's very feature rich. It's very powerful, and it's a one-time cost, and there's no funny business like there is with CapCut. So I think the thing to think about is you want to learn it to where you need to be and no more. But if you want to really be serious about the videos you're making, and now and then you want to make something like you really want to put your heart and soul into a video, then spending a bit more time editing is something you're probably going to do. So then spending $300 on Final Cut or using DaVinci, which is powerful and can help you get there, is smart, because you're kind of entering a more high-end kind of level. And again, you can do it for free with DaVinci Resolve. You can upgrade to their paid suite if you want. Final Cut is great because they have plugins, so you can add nice text features and so on. But here's the thing. Yeah, there's something about they own your video. What is it, Tracy, with CapCut? Do you know?
It's just that they are reserving the right to use your videos, even sponsored videos and things like that, to do what they like with. I think this all comes back to the fact that it's owned by TikTok, the same firm as TikTok. And we've always had doubts. Because when they took TikTok down for a day in America, it took down CapCut with it, didn't it? Didn't over here. We were okay. So I think there's this whole mistrust thing, and that's the problem. But I'm trying to work out whether I care or not. I'm in that place at the moment. Am I that bothered if they steal my stuff and use it, as long as they use it honestly? And I think that might be the problem, because you don't know what they're going to do with it, and we know how things can be twisted and manipulated. And but if honestly, if they want this middle-aged face on their screens and want to borrow it, then do I care? I don't know. I just don't know what to think. I found CapCut nice and easy to use, and I was quite happily using it. So
sure.
I don't know. But that's all I know is just what we've seen, others on YouTube talking about. Lynn, they can update. I'll just pop this on the screen. Hang on. Lynn, they updated their agreement, and we, by still continuing to subscribe to it, we imply that we have accepted the new terms and conditions because it's on a subscription. So, yeah, they didn't need to get us to sign anything, to be honest. Susie, deleting it. What? Oops. Pressing buttons, and I should just leave Julia to it. Go on, Julia, put Susie's comment on screen. Thank you. Delete everything after you've edited it. They've probably still got it backed up at their end. So whether we delete it or not, it doesn't matter. I could end up in all sorts of trouble. Yeah, I've also got the means to take them to court and deal with it, although it's a Chinese firm, so how easy is that? But I have got all the legal backup to do that if I needed to. Should I care? If they want to use my videos, honestly, as in put my face on the screen, use bits of my videos, or I can't imagine why they'd want to be honest. But if they did, not bothered. It's if they do something dishonest. I think that's where the issues is. But nobody reads the terms and conditions. We all just scroll down it and click accept, don't we? And so they've snuck it in there.
Tricky terms and conditions. I mean, the thing is, typically when you leverage something for free, that can happen, like all the
well, mine's paid. Mine's the paid version.
Oh, and it's paid even when you're paid. Wow. Like that to me blows my mind. I can't believe that.
That's what I quite liked with AI music. A lot of us use
because
we can make silly songs about glitter and things, or nice instrumentals. I do a lot of nice instrumentals. I've got the paid version of Suno AI, and that means that I own the legal rights to the music. So Suno can't share it with everybody else. Other people can't use it without my permission and that sort of thing. If you have the free version, then Suno own it. You can use it royalty free and everything, of course, but other people can use it too. So I've got the paid version, which means I can do a lot more generations on it anyway. And I do own the rights to it, and I share it with all this lot that are in chat too anyhow. But that makes more sense, that you've got different rights depending on whether you're paying or not. But no, it doesn't seem to make any difference with CapCut. It's the same. What if they took your face and added it to a porn? Can you imagine anybody would want to add this face to a porn? I'd just be very funny. I don't care. Really? It'd be funny. I'm saying no more on that topic. The way people's minds work. So have we got any more questions for Brian? Because Brian's time is very precious. We're very lucky to have him here. I've really enjoyed this. Thank you so much, Brian. And judging by the happy noises in chat down here, I think everybody else has too. Has anybody got any more questions for Brian? I can see we've still got one or two people joining, actually.
Yeah, hey, so Catherine. Any more? Nice to see Catherine in here too. And
is this some of your gang coming in? Is it, Brian?
Yeah, a couple people came in. It was nice. Adventures in the Dirt was here. Ken was here. Number of people have been stopping by. Julia, it's a pleasure. It's YouTube is really so fun, and I think when you really love something, it's just it's great, and it's fun to share ideas and whatnot. I'm a little sad because I have this light over here. You can't see it. It's out of frame, but I've got a little barn door that I can direct the light, and it's messing up my vibe in the shadows. It still looks nice, but not as nice as
my lighting is all over the place because I'm outside still. It's gone dark. So God knows what my lighting looks like. By the way, the reason Lynn's so interested in the legalese is she is actually a lawyer.
There you go.
Lynn, we ought to get you to actually analyse it properly, hadn't we? What's this? What we got there? Sherry's saying, pretty amateur, so projects go wrong. If I start upbeat, I worry they will be disappointed at the end. How do you address the failure at the end?
I'm pretty amateur, so often my projects go wrong. If I start upbeat, I worry they will be disappointed.
We all have that happen.
Yeah, this is kind of such a common question, right? How do we put our heart and soul into something only to see it, kind of flop? And it's nice to get this question, Sherry. A lot of people say, I'm here for the creativity, and I get that, but a lot of us also want that success. We want our works to be seen, and it is really a challenge. The one analogy I really like, I think I heard it from my friend Nick Nimmin, and we were actually chatting today and just holding each other accountable. I said, hey, way to publish, and such a great topic and whatnot. Nerd Goblin, good to see you. The thing to think about is that imagine if you would, like this is kind of more guys talk, but imagine if you were a professional athlete, maybe a ballerina, or you were going to compete with professional athletes. Like for me, I think about professional football and stepping out, and it's my job to protect the quarterback, and I've been eating Twinkies and I'm out of shape. And there's these guys across the line and they want to kill me, and they've been working out for months, and their entire existence is about physical fitness and the game of football, and they understand the strategy, and I'm like this newbie on the field. And yet so many of us want the results associated with greatness. One of my quotes I've had for a long time is, if you want greatness in your life, start acting the part. And it doesn't mean that we're getting hell-bent because we're struggling, but how do you deal with that disappointment? And for me personally, is number one, because I love it. Number two is that I think I've made enough videos that I've come to understand that not everything is going to be amazing. And almost always it takes YouTubers that have a high level of success, many, many videos, and really, truly trying a lot of different things. And if I'm doing all those things and I'm publishing regularly and I'm striving to improve and I'm worried about my titles and my topics and I'm paying attention to my analytics, it actually usually works out. It doesn't mean you're going to do millions of views, but you're going to see growth. And I think the more you can lean into that and just know, hey, it's okay. Like this one video does not define my success. What defines my success is the channel that I leave behind, and it sounds weird. I don't know why I feel weird when I say this, but I kind of think about it as legacy. Like it is artistic, it is creative. It does capture me for many years in ups and downs. There's videos of me, emotional because I hit 10,000 subscribers in a year. There's videos of me emotional because, I lost someone I loved based on divorce. And there's a lot of videos of me acting a fool because that's part of who I am. And as long as I kind of keep marching forward, I get great results. And it's really easy to pin all our hopes and dreams to this next video, but it's just that, one video. So I will say the more I really truly honor to what viewers want, and I make those videos with some of the stuff I want to do, they typically do better. So I want to send you peace and power if you're struggling with that, with the fact that you are not kind of where you want to be, but to get back up off the ground, because I think Winston Churchill said that's the mark of true success. It's not standing on the hill saying, look at me, I'm a champion. It's dusting yourself off, deciding to have the courage to keep moving forward in the face of adversity. You know what I mean? And I can't, you dig, Catherine? I dig. And I get a lot of hate from these young punks, and they say, I can't believe you're still sharing this, and look at you, and all you do is publish videos about going viral and you only get 2,000 views. And I say, I actually, and now it doesn't bother me as much. So what I will tell you is that over time, it's easier to handle. And I make videos now and I say, well, if you're going to attack me, let's just go over the facts. Number one, I published this video a few days ago. It got 12,000 views. That's pretty good. I published this video a few months ago. It got 50,000 views. That's pretty good, you know, and I just kind of break things down and address the hate. And also I get to I just get to continue on with my art, which that matters to me more. So I think when you really love it, it makes it pretty easy.
I've got one final question for you, Brian.
Okay.
And this comes courtesy of a bit of paper from my fella who sat watching this in that. Hello, Mark. He sat watching this in the lounge. He'll hopefully come out and catch this daft cat in a minute. Right, Brian, can you put these Blondie singles in order?
These Blondie singles. Okay.
Yeah, he spotted your T-shirt, obviously. Denise, Atomic, Heart of Glass.
What did you...
He said, can you put these Blondie singles in the right order? Denise, Atomic, Heart of Glass. He's testing you now, look, isn't he?
Oh, Blondie. Okay, I'm like, what the hell are we talking about? Like, can you put these...
Your T-shirt.
Yeah, I understand, but blonde is also a way that women describe other women or men, and I don't know. We're talking music, and then your accent. I don't what the hell are you saying? So, what were the songs? I think they're in chronological order from when they were released. So I'm not.
That's what he's after.
Fan.
Oh, right. He was assuming by your T-shirt. Never mind. Oh, go on then. Denise, Atomic, Heart of Glass.
Denise number 1, Atomic number 2, Heart of Glass number 3. Did I win?
No. Apparently Atomic, then Denise, and then Heart of Glass. I don't know. I
want to
I'll slap him later. It's fine.
I want the judge's confirmation, please.
There we go. Anyway, there we go. Mark's pearls of wisdom for the night.
I love my music and I like my rock and roll t-shirt.
Catherine's just asked where I'm from. I'm from England, in North Worcestershire, so I'm just south of Birmingham. So most people, if you live in the south, you think I sound like Noddy Holder or Ozzy Osbourne. If you live in the north, you're probably confused.
Right,
I'm right in the middle.
I like that I have Brian G reflected in my glasses. I haven't been a fan of the G.
That's good, isn't it? That's very good. That looks kind of creepy, I have to say. Right, I suppose we ought to wrap this up if nobody's got any more questions. Brian, thank you so much for your time. It's been very, very insightful. If anybody hasn't subscribed to Brian, as I said earlier, what are you playing at? Go and subscribe. I'll put you a link to his channel, obviously, in the video description, when this actually goes out as on replay. So I'll drop the link for his channel down there. And if anybody's got any questions, feel free to lob them into the comments and we'll take a look at them. I don't know how much time Brian will have to check on it, but I won't be at all surprised if he has a look over it for us. Obviously, I'll keep tabs on any questions as well. So thank you so much, Brian. And if there's anybody else you'd like me to be cheeky and ask if they could come on the channel and share their pearls of wisdom with us to help us all out and help us on our YouTube journey, then do shout up, because I'm all for being cheeky and having a go. So
I'll keep it in mind and I'll let some of my pals know.
That would be awesome. Thank you. I know I'm probably going to be able to get Kirk Nugent on. He's very good on workflows and things like that.
Was that Ted Nugent? Ted Nugent?
Kirk Nugent.
Oh, okay. I thought you said Ted. No, I was kidding.
Yeah. I would love to get Rob from vidIQ on.
Yeah, there you go. That would be cool.
And Nick, of course.
Nick is the bomb.
Nick's he's the man, isn't he? He's brilliant. So I'd like to get all those on as well.
But
I'm also looking out for people who do hobbies that have become a thing, either a business or a YouTube channel, to talk to them about how they've gone about it, how they film it, how they what the challenges are, all that sort of thing. The plan for this channel really is to try and help and inspire people who are wanting to take their hobbies, that's stage further and actually put them out into the big wide world via things like YouTube or as a business. So anybody who I think would be interested in the story to share with everybody and inspire other people to maybe think about doing the same. I'm after that sort of people as well. I've got a few lined up. I think I've got the rest of the year planned out. I'm starting to look at next year as well now. So there we go.
Perfect.
So thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Thank you so much, Brian, for so much of your time. That's amazing. Really, really appreciate it. I don't know what else to say, really. Let's call it a day at that. So thanks again, everyone. And don't forget, comments down below. Do leave questions in there. And if anybody would like to subscribe to this channel, of course, then I'll be eternally grateful. Thank you so much. And thank you, Brian.
Take care. Thanks for having me, Tracy. It's been a pleasure, and I want to wish